What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Nittany Pod. I am AP. He is TK. Welcome back, brother.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Glad to have you back. And of course, we have Nick again with us. And Alex is not here with us tonight. He was busy all weekend. So, I mean, he didn't even really watch the Penn State game. So he wouldn't have had much to say other than probably, pissing on James Franklin and, whatever else. So, you know what it is with him. But no, Penn State had a lethargic, unimpressive, unenthused, however you want to put it. It was not a pretty performance, but 34-0 shutout against Florida International. I mean, you can't complain about that, but there's definitely enough to complain about when it comes to that game. Like I said, ugly performance, and starts with the quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
I just don't. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's almost every year. We when we do play cupcake games, right? Obviously, we had a little stretch there playing West Virginia and Auburn in the beginning of the year, which is awesome. I love that. But I just feel like we've kind of fallen into the trap of sometimes when we play these cupcake games, we just kind of look shitty. And then, our first reaction is, oh, like it doesn't matter, like it's FIU. But to me, on the other side of it, I think, that matters more to me. Like, why do we look shitty against FIU? If you're going to look shitty against FIU, then what are we about to look like in a couple of weeks against Oregon? And then when you really look at the game, 34-0, obviously I agree. Like it's still, you beat someone by 34. That's a great win usually, right? But it's like the bare bones of the game, at the beginning of the fourth quarter or like even midway through the fourth quarter, right? Were you really feeling like that was a solid game from Penn State? Probably not.
Hell no.
So I'm sure we'll get into it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that need to improve, players that need to improve. Obviously, I'm always willing to put in there James needs to improve. So, yeah, I'm
sure we'll get into it. In there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of ironic, right? Because we talk about, like, James Franklin's whole mantra is want to know every week, want to know every week. But yet year and year and year again, we keep seeing them, like, struggle against these cupcake teams. We saw it against Bowling Green last year. We saw it against Central Michigan a couple years ago. We saw it against Appalachian State back in the McSorley and Saquon days. So this is a common occurrence for this program where they just can't wake up for these games for some reason. And I think AP, you said it, Drew Allar, I think he was a big part of the problem. Just made some throws where I'm just like, what was that? Like, that's not a NFL first round pick quality throw right there. That looks like right. Christian Hackenberg at the Lincoln Financial Field in 2015. So yeah, there's a lot to get into, and
that's terrible memories.
I'll let you direct it there.
Yeah. Like I said, starts with the quarterback. Like you said, Drew Allar was definitely not impressive, and it's definitely concerning, because it just shows he's still very inconsistent. Last week, he had a hell of a game. The only incompletions he had were throwaways because he had to, or drops. And this week, it was just bad. He couldn't hit the side of a barn half the time. And then you get the throw to Devontae Ross, 40 yards downfield. A little bit underthrown, but still a good ball. And, long touchdown that we've been dying for the past few years. So
and
that was nice to see.
It was nice to see Devontae get involved as well. We saw Pena and Hudson get involved last week. So to get Ross in there as well this week, that was a huge thing to have that, to know for sure we have that third wide receiver to rely on throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's still coming back from injury. The team said the team didn't expect him back until really week 3. So the fact that he's doing what he's doing right now, that's a good sign. Hopefully it just continues from here on an upscale. But
did some good things on the punt return too, right? I mean, he did some
good
things.
Yeah. He looked shifty back there. I feel like
that's always been like a weird spot for us. Like obviously,
oh, absolutely.
I know we gave Daquan Hardy kind of lit it up there for a little bit, but I feel like besides that, I feel like we've always just been a boring special teams unit.
Fair catch.
And I feel like outside of Gabe kicking 2 out of bounds, I feel like special teams has been pretty solid for us through 2 weeks. So that's been a breath of fresh air for sure.
And the blocked punt. They had a
Yeah,
good day
block
yesterday.
punt. Dom DeLuca, I mean, he's a block punt specialist at this point. He's
Yeah.
done it 4 or 5 times at this point in his career. But
Yeah.
Gabe Nwosu, definitely a bright spot. He had a 72-yard punt, also pinned a different punt inside the two. So I mean, definitely nice to see that he has that sort of versatility as a punter.
He got the Pat McAfee repost there from
Yeah,
and then
for the
held it
brand.
down. So
Yeah,
there you go.
love to see that. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, if Penn State wants to achieve what they set out to and what everybody expects of them this year, they have to improve pretty much in all phases. In all phases, because even the special teams had its miscues on Saturday. But it starts with Drew Allar, like I said. It also comes down to Nick Singleton and the offensive line as well. They definitely have not been looking the way that we have expected to thus far. Nick Singleton, I mean, it's been thrown out there. His elusivity rating right now is a 0. That's concerning. That's really concerning.
Yeah, I think this is the same conversation we had last year, I think, with Nick through the first couple games. I don't know if it's getting out of the gate slow. I don't know if maybe he did regress. I don't want to say that through 2 games, right? I feel like he hasn't even really been on the field that much.
Right.
But I don't know. He needs to get better. Obviously, he did have some really, really weak effort pass pickup this weekend as well in pass protection, which is soft in my opinion. I think Katron does a great job of stepping up and welcoming contact there. But yeah, I mean, the offensive line. I mean, that's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. It's not. I mean, it's FIU. We couldn't really run the ball great against Nevada either. So that's just not good enough in my opinion. I believe Leonard obviously is gone now. I don't know if maybe he was the voice in the room that kind of got on their ass when things weren't going well.
Right.
But they're not good enough right now, flat out. So I did want to say, I know I obviously missed the first episode. I apologize for that. But I did have us going 11-1 with a loss to Ohio State. So that was my prediction. Obviously, like AP said, things need to change in some areas for that to happen. But I did want to say that because I know obviously I did those already. But yeah, I agree. The offensive line is pathetic.
Yeah. For a group that was considered one of the best in the country coming into the season, it's an absolute joke. Though, to be fair, Katron Allen yesterday had a hell of a game, 144 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. So for as bad as Nick Singleton played, Katron Allen did have a good game.
But even on that long touchdown run that he had, that was poor execution by the offensive lineman. So I mean, even on the explosive plays,
absolutely no justification for the offensive line. But that was nice to see because we spent a good portion of our show last week talking about, what is up with this run game? Like we need them to lock in if we want to win some games this year. So that was nice to see from Katron, but absolutely agree. I mean, games are won in the trenches. And if your offensive line plays against that, against Ohio State, against Oregon, you're going to get ran out of the building.
Now it has been said, I don't know how much you guys watch some of the insiders or whatever you want to call them, some of their podcasts and all that stuff. But I know T. Frank said that it really looks like they're just going for the home run play every time. I mean, because they're running it outside. The offensive line is swinging that way. Like they're really just going for the home run. I hope that's the scenario, especially with Nick Singleton. But I mean, you got to get downhill. That's what he's best at. I mean, if you look at some of the highlights of his career, all of his biggest runs are between the tackles.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you need to get back into his bag a little bit.
I do want to point out, because I know I always have it pulled up here. Some people listening are probably gonna be like, "Oh, like Singleton's been great. Like he's doing what he has to do." Obviously, from what we're accustomed to seeing from him, it's regression. Most teams, most fans would be okay with 13 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown, 5.8 a pop. That's pretty good for a running back. It's just not what we're used to seeing from him. And then if you flip the script and see, Katron, 16 carries, 144 yards, 9 yards a pop. I think there's been a very big, I don't want to say misunderstanding, but I don't think people have judged Katron as fairly as they have Nick. I think Katron, even last year, was the better overall back for Penn State when it comes to obviously rushing, receiving, and pass protection. And I felt that way the whole time. When all these rankings come out and it says, Nick Singleton, top 2 and Katron's in 10th or not even on the list, I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I get Nick can, break it 80 yards anytime, but I mean,
He was
there's
Mr.
something to be said
Gatorade in
about
high
somebody
school.
there's something to be said about somebody who'll grab it and get 6-7 yards a pop and put his head down and just gain the nasty yards. And I think Katron is that. So.
Yeah, and I think, AP, I think you make a good point. At least within the fan base, I think there's that bias from 4 years ago at this point, but that bias from he's from Pennsylvania. He's the number one player in the state, Mr. Pennsylvania, all this, he Governor Mifflin and all that. But the thing with the offense here is all these people are like, oh, well, they're just running this kind of BS offense because they're playing these, cupcake schools. And this isn't the offense they're going to run against Oregon or Ohio State. Are we watching the same game? I don't care what type of offense they're running. Drew Allar isn't hitting guys in the chest. Offensive line isn't blocking properly. Guys aren't getting into gaps properly. That is not stuff that has to do. You could call the game like a 7-year-old calls a Madden game. All right. You have the talent. You have the talent. Like the talent, it's like you're playing a Division II school. You might as well be playing. Like it has nothing to do with how they're calling the offense. It's execution from the players. You can blame Koto Nicky all you want. It really has nothing to do with him. It's inaccurate passes, poor blocking, and not knowing what gap to run through. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, if I said it earlier in, I'm in so many different group chats, but I said it in one of the group chats that I'm in. Like, if Penn State executed on these short fields that they're getting, just executed, finish the drives. You're playing against FIU, and you're getting the ball on their 45 plus. You need to score a touchdown, and these are the drives they're not getting anything because they're going forward on 4th down because they're in these awkward situations. They end up in 4th down scenarios, don't fucking get it because they can't run the ball in these short yardage situations, which is very concerning in my opinion. But they're not converting on these flipped fields, and if they were, we'd be talking about a 56 nothing win right now if they just executed. And that is the concerning thing. The talent is there, everything's there. Just execute. Stop with the rotating bodies bullshit. Like I'm interested to see how many offensive linemen played on Saturday. I know the defense rotated a lot of people, and shout out to the defense. They played a hell of a ball game. And we'll talk about Chaz Coleman a little bit later, but my God. I just execute. Just execute.
And I agree. I agree with Nick. I mean, the play from Drew is just not good enough. We're talking. I mean, even the swing pass to Singleton where he clearly picks up the first down. It's just like it's just not good enough, bro. Like it's not good enough. And even myself, when talking about him, it's always, I feel like the past 2 years we've just had a built-in excuse for Drew with the receivers, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's valid. They sucked. And that is what it is. But at this point,
Trey Wallace looked good.
That's example number 2. Lambert Smith left. He looked good. Wallace looks good. But regardless, he has to make the throws. Like and then in this whole, which we've learned earlier in a group chat from somebody who's more associated with the program, this whole mantra of, well, they told him not to run. That's not true. So when he's not pulling the ball and the linebacker's going with Allen, he can run it straight up the middle, 30 yards for a touchdown because everyone went with Allen. That's a Drew problem. When you're not making sure everybody's set, when you're missing wide open guys, when you're throwing the ball behind them, they go as he goes. And if Drew's not gonna up his play, we all love to talk about him when he's beating FIU, Nevada, or Maryland, or Northwestern, or Purdue. We all love to talk about, oh, look what Drew did, look at this throw, look at this. But we never talk about look what he's doing against Ohio State. We're never talking about look what he did against Oregon. We're never having those conversations. When it's never, oh, look what he did against Ole Miss. We didn't have any of those conversations. None. Not a single one. So if we're going to praise Drew for when he's dog walking Purdue or Maryland or anyone under the sun in that realm, on that level, then I want to have real conversations about Drew when we're playing Ohio State. After we play Oregon, I want to have those conversations because what he's doing right now, along with many other people, the offensive line, Singleton, maybe even AK's play calling to an extent, it's not good enough to win the games we're going to have to win that matches the perception of what this team can be. It's nowhere close. Like, it is nowhere close. And somebody asked me to name 3 things. I said, a leader, the short game passing, and what was the third thing I said? I
missed it.
I don't even remember. But it's like they were like asking about his arm strength can he throw the ball down the field? No, I don't think Drew can push the ball down the field consistently. I don't, and he's still
Not with
terrified to
accuracy.
throw the ball over the middle. Still terrified. Like, he's gonna have to make those throws in a couple weeks to win that game. Like, Oregon's not gonna let us run for 300 yards again, bro.
Yeah, he's going to have to step it up big time.
And I think that's where
we're going to have to score. We're going to have to, because Oregon, they're scoring, bro. I mean, they're going to score.
they scored 69 yesterday. And AP, let's remember last week we were like, hey, we saw too much Ryan Barker. We need to turn those 3s into 7s this week.
Yeah.
And you know what they did? They did the exact opposite. They turned those 3s into 0s. They couldn't even get in the field goal range. It was a joke. And I watched a little bit of the post game press
even
conference.
when they were in field goal range, they'd go for it on 4th down. And like I said earlier, that's a concerning thing because they're not picking up these 4th and 2, 4th and 3 scenarios. Sorry,
it's very concerning.
And I saw the beginning of the post game press conference, and I forget who it was. One of the beat writers was like, "Oh, you guys are really is the inability to finish drives a concern of yours?" And James is like, "Well, it seems like a concern of yours, James. It should be a concern of yours. What do you mean it's a concern of the beat writers? It should be a concern of yours. Inability to finish drives. The whole point of the game is to score, and you guys can't seem to do it for some reason. Like, finishing, it's such basic stuff against such low level competition.
It's very. And I don't want this to be another year of people just responding and say TK shits on James the whole time. I don't want that to be what this is. But at the end of the day, the way he answers these questions, I mean, it seems like it's a problem for you. What Nick you're the head coach of the football team, bro. Like, Are you not tired of people relentlessly shitting on you specifically, your name every single year for the same thing?
Apparently
same thing when he says, yeah, we're rotating a lot of guys in. That's fine. I get what you're saying, but the guys you're rotating in should still be able to dominate FIU. That's still a representation of yourself. When they come out and look like shit for the entire first quarter and it looks like they're all hung over and they don't know what's going on, that's a representation of yourself. Like that, like these built-in excuses, like whether he likes it or not, the Drew to Ross was the epitome of chuck it deep. That's what that was. Like that is what that was.
Yeah, you're talking about the pass interference. Yeah,
he got the pass interference. That's what he wants him to do. That's the whole point of the quote-unquote chuck it deep, and that's what it was.
And to your point of him not being able to throw the deep ball, if that's an accurate ball on time, that's a touchdown instead of a pass interference. Devontae Ross had his man beat.
Yep.
So
there's too many. There's just too many of those, and he defends them. He defends. One thing I do like, he defends the players religiously. Like, he does. He always backs them. He tries to back them without putting his own name in jeopardy. He does a great job doing that because he won't accept responsibility himself. So he in this next 2 weeks, like Villanova. I mean, you should beat the shit out of Villanova. I mean, they have to show some sort of success on offense finishing drives against Villanova. Like, they have to. Otherwise, you can't expect anything. Everyone that I've talked to expected this team. This is the year where they have a team they can beat that isn't Ohio State, that changes the narrative around the program. And it's early in the season, so it could have a spiral if it doesn't go well. He has to do everything in his power the next 2 weeks to make sure they are prepared for that game. That 1-0 bullshit that he's preached for 11 years, he doesn't even do it himself. So I don't care. He's admitted that they worked on Ohio State for weeks on end in years past, leading up to other teams. So I don't care about that. He has to do everything possible to somehow prepare this team better for these games, because it's not good enough right now. It is not good enough right now. It's just not.
You guys want to do a little good, bad, ugly? Give me one thing from the game that was good, one thing you thought was bad, and one thing that you thought was worse. You want to start, Nick?
Yeah. So the good We haven't really talked about much of it so far. Not that there is much reason to, but the good is the defensive line. The young DNs, Chaz Coleman, Zariah Fisher. I thought they played a really, really good game. And
Yeah.
AP, we talked about this last week where I was like, hey, we didn't really hear Chaz Coleman's name much this week. And then this week he
Heard it a
comes
lot
out
this
and we
week.
did. You called it. We heard it a lot this week. We know that he wouldn't have the green light to play as a freshman unless there was a reason for him to have the green light. So, yeah, he definitely proved himself. Not that he really needed to. I think we all.
Hey, I said last week he might lead the team this year in sacks. And, I mean, from the way that he looked on Saturday.
Yeah, no, he looked really good. I mean, no, the defense as a whole looked amazing. If, very contrary to the offense.
Yeah. They were definitely. There were a couple plays that's like, all right, this is bullshit. But yeah, all in all,
no, there was a little bit of bend don't break to it that I didn't love. But I mean, compared to the offense, it's hard to talk too much shit on the defense.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then the bad and the ugly are going to be two things that we've kind of already touched on. The bad, like we've already touched on, I think was the inability to finish drives. I mean, just ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. Like. If you're doing this against FIU, I'm really curious. Like, Oregon is 3 weeks away. Guys, I hate to break it to you. A bunch of people wearing white shirts, screaming loudly, does not win you football games. You have to execute on the field. So it might be a nice advantage. It might be a nice advantage that Oregon's coming from 3,000 miles away, and you have this great home field. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to throw a football. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to get in the end zone, right? I've seen them lose whiteout games before. It's not unheard of. So,
famously made fun of for it.
Yeah, let's not. Everyone's like, oh, this is a guaranteed win. There's no such thing as a guaranteed win in this era of college football, and definitely not with this offense. And then the ugly was the play of Drew Allar and just the passing. Again, two things we've already touched on, but it's just so glaring that I don't like. There's nowhere else for me to go for the bad and the ugly. Like there just is. Like the good, like I can go to the defense. The bad and the ugly, that there's nothing I can go to that we haven't touched on. Like it's just unacceptable at the end of the day. And it's just all I keep seeing. All offseason you see, Drew Allar with a 60-yard pass in a dome against Michigan State 2 years ago. Cool, man. What's the score on the bottom of the screen? It's like 34-0. Like it doesn't matter. Like is he doing that against real competition? Michigan State, didn't they go with 3-9 that year? 4-8. They were an awful program that year. They couldn't even get a home game at their own stadium. They had to play a neutral site game. Like it's just TK, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the good, I mean, I would say Katron Allen was probably the good for me. I think I was happy to see him break a long one. I think he always runs hard. I think he always runs downhill, runs behind the pads. So I think he was a bright spot when it's hard to find one offensively, right? The bad, man, I'll say the bad was the preparation from James Franklin coming into the game. Because I can't fathom with a team with this much talent for you to look that bad through three and a third quarters, maybe. I just can't fathom it because I think a lot of people are gonna look at this score and say 34-0. How do you
at the end of the season? Yeah.
How do you view this game without the Chaz Coleman strip sack return to the one? Like how are you viewing this game without Katron Allen running 60 yards? On a blown up play actually, because that was not blocked well, as that was mentioned earlier.
Right. So
I would have the good is Katron. I'd say the bad is James Franklin preparation, which we've seen plenty of times throughout his tenure. So that's just a given. And then the ugly, I mean, I'm not going to say Drew because it was already said. Obviously that wasn't great, but the offensive line as a whole has just been absolutely putrid. I don't get it. Nick mentioned earlier, I'm supposed to be one of the top units in college football. Not really seeing that right now. It looks soft. They're not getting any push. They're getting pushed back by teams like FIU and Nevada. So I really hope they're challenging themselves to be better because, I mean, we can preach it, but I mean, you just can't play like this against and we say Oregon and Ohio State. You can't play like this against anybody in conference. I mean, you'll get popped regardless. Right, yeah. It doesn't have to be somebody like an Oregon. So yeah, that's the good bag and the ugly for me. And it can all be improved.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
I mean, it could be improved before the Oregon game. Even what Nick's talking about, all these things could get better, and I hope, and they should get better. It's a huge program at a great staff that's been assembled by James, which he probably doesn't get enough credit for that. They can get better, and that's fine. They're supposed to throughout the year. Unfortunately, the Oregon game's not at the end of the year, so they need to kick it in gear now so they're ready in 3 weeks when the time comes. They have plenty of time to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we know the roster is great. We know the coaching staff is great. We know the program, like everything's great, but we can only judge you based off of the tape that you're giving us, and the tape that you're giving us right now is bullshit. So, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if the smoothie machine breaks, though, I mean, it's going to be all over. That's all you're going to hear about at James' press conference after they lose that Oregon game is broken smoothie machines and bad facilities or whatever.
I don't think you understand the things I'm going to be saying on here if that doesn't go our way. Because to me,
it'll be bad.
This is a whole different conversation. I don't want to get into it. It's going to take forever. For me, and I stayed on my prediction that that's the game that we're going to win, that we're going to split between Oregon and Ohio State. But for me, that game is everything for him. Like, because that's like a lifeline for him. No one in the fan base believes he can beat Ohio State. Nobody in the country believes he can beat Ohio State, and they might be right. That game's a lifeline for him. So that's why it's just so unfathomable for me to put out the product that he's putting out right now from his team and how they're performing with that coming up. Because everyone's going to look to that game as, okay, you can't beat Ohio State. And really, he struggled with Michigan too most of the time. You need to give us this one. Like, this is the one you need to win.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where all the criticism comes from me, at least.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you my good. I was going to go with Chaz Coleman, but Nick kind of went with that earlier with the young defensive line. So I'm going to go Luke Reynolds. On a day that was tough for Drew Allar, and frankly, the receivers had a couple drops as well. Khalil Dinkins didn't have a great day receiving the ball. Luke Reynolds was Mr. Reliable. He had 7 catches, 58 yards, so it wasn't anything crazy explosive or anything like that. But he was the guy that was converting some of these third downs, and was, like I said, reliable, especially down in the red zone. Picked up a few first downs for us, so definitely a nice little bright spot. Today, NFL first Sunday of NFL, we saw 5 starting tight ends come from Penn State, and Luke Reynolds looks like he might be the next one in line. Great day from him on Saturday. For the bad, gotta go with the offensive line here. Actually, no, I'm going to go with the kickoffs because the offensive line was kind of touched on a little bit earlier. The kickoffs. Game Nwosu, for as good of a day as he had punting the ball, he had as bad of a day kicking it off. You can't kick it off out of bounds twice in a game. I mean, you were lucky to get away with it yesterday because of the opponent that you were playing. But if you do that against Oregon in a couple weeks, you do that against Ohio State, we're fucked. So definitely got to go with that as my bad. And ugly, the running vision, specifically from Nick Singleton. And frankly, Drew Allar as well. I mean, there were a couple read option plays where if he keeps it, he's walking in for a touchdown. There's one specifically that sticks out. It was a 3rd and 3 that we did not pick up. If he holds the ball, he walks into the end zone. So, and there's definitely a viral play out there of Nick Singleton. If he cuts up the field, man, he's picking up at least a first down, maybe 15, 20 yards, and he just runs right into the back of his receivers. So I don't know what's going on there. Stan Drayton, I believe in. He's a great running backs coach, but what we're seeing right now from, Mr. Gatorade, Mr. Pennsylvania, the 5-star, I'm not loving it.
Allen's vision looks good.
Yeah, he looks great.
I mean, Katron honestly has an argument for offensive player of the game. I mean, it's
absolutely.
I mean, you can't. I'm not going to blame Stan Drayton for the running game because it's clearly a Nick Singleton issue. It's not a Katron Allen issue. It's not a Cam Wallace issue. It's a Nick Singleton issue.
Really, really cool. I mean, he had a couple drops. Obviously, that sucked. As Aaron mentioned, there was a few drops that were just abysmal to me. But
Mm-hmm.
Khalil Dinkins continues his shtick of his only reception being a touchdown. So seems cool,
Yeah.
man. You
I
catch the
mean,
ball, you score a touchdown. Seems like, you got that going for you. So
yeah, it's effective at least.
Reynolds is tight end 1, though, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah, I said last week by the end of the season, Rapouillet is probably going to be tight end 1. I think I'm backing down off of that already because Luke Reynolds had a hell of a day. But Rapouillet, I think might end up tight end 2 by the end of the year, based off.
I like Dinkins. I like Dinkins.
I like all of them. I like all of them.
Can't drop the ball, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That room is loaded for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, and it will be for years to come. All right, let's do run with that, pass with that, a little buy or sell here, TK. Going to give you a couple takes, and you're either going to buy it or sell it, run with it or pass with it.
Oh, boy.
So the first one, we saw Drew Allar start to hook up a little bit with Devontae Ross deep twice, and that was nice to see. We're going to see at least 2 each game.
I'm selling that. I'm 100% selling that because he has not shown he can push the ball down the field consistently. I am selling that.
I'm not saying they're going to be touchdowns or anything like that, but
gotta push.
You're saying so the argument is that he's going to have 2 deep passes per game. That's what I'm buying.
Two Devontae Ross.
Oh,
they're hooking up deep.
No,
I'm selling that.
No pass, no shot. Dude, even if he does have 2 deep passes in the game, which is no guarantee, there's also 2 other receivers that he could be throwing it to. So I'm not going to, even if he were to do that, that's the whole other argument, which I don't even think is going to happen, especially not against legitimate competition. But then you also have to, Devontae Ross had a great game this week, but you got to go back to week 1. You got to remember Pena and Hudson are there, and they're going to be, Pena especially is going to be a deep threat as well. So there's going to be other guys to throw the ball deep to. So not 2 per game, no shot.
I also don't want Ross to turn into 2025 Amari Evans just running 9 routes. Like I don't want.
Oh no, it doesn't have to be a 9 route.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying in general. Like I don't want it to be, Devontae Ross running a 9 route. Like let's try and hit a deep shot. Like I want him to be a possession receiver as well. Maybe that's not his skill set, and that's fine. But that's just me. Like I feel like I've always enjoyed. Obviously, everyone loves a home run hitter, but like think of somebody like a Pierre Garçon or somebody like that, or Chris Godwin, right in the NFL. Just a trusty hands, third down guy. Because like I love that. Like, and I hope that all of our receivers can be that. But I don't want them to just be like an Amari Evans, run deep, see if you can catch it type deal. Because that doesn't work in college football all the time.
I'd love to run with it because I think the potential is there. It seems like he trusts Ross already enough to do that. I mean, we haven't seen Drew attempt these deep passes in the second quarter ever before. And the fact that he leads me to think that he trusts him enough to do that. And he's not even fully healthy yet. He hooked up on the second one, and the first one was a positive result as well. So that just builds that confidence. And that is the player that he's kind of supposed to be. Like he's not just going to be running bang routes all day, but he is the over the top guy. That's what his role is supposed to be for the offense. He's supposed to expand the defense a little bit. So I am going to run with that. Why not? Let's take a shot here.
I love the optimism.
Yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
We need it. I mean, we need
exactly.
Offensively.
Yeah.
So I hope you're right.
All right, second one. Nick is going to go over 100 against Villanova this coming weekend.
I'm going to pass mostly because I don't think he's going to get enough. I mean, if Nick Singleton gets enough carries to run for 100 yards against Villanova, that's a bad sign. All right, Cam Wallace should be playing. The other running backs should be playing. Nick Singleton should get like a couple, if he wants to have a good game, he should have a couple good 20-yard runs and then get him out of there. I don't need him getting injured against Villanova. All right, show us that he can do something, and get him out of the game. I don't need him running for 100 yards against Villanova. I need him running for 150 yards against Oregon. I don't need him doing anything against Villanova besides showing me that he can actually find the gaps in the offensive line and run for 20 yards, burst out. That's all I need. I don't need 100 yards.
I am buying that. I think he will surpass 100 yards. Similar to what Nick's saying, I think that he won't play the second half, but I think if he does find the hole, the thing about Nick Singleton, if he is playing someone like Villanova, if he finds the hole, he should have about 40, 50 yards in front of him in said hole to run. So I think Nick Singleton will break a long one this weekend, coupled with maybe 7 carries, 30 yards, that gets you to 100, right?
Yep.
I think that could happen. I mean, Nick very well could be right. I mean, that's a great take. I mean, I really don't give a shit to see you run 100 yards against Villanova. But the reality is, in my mind, in every game we play, Allen or Singleton should have 100 yards.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
One of them will have 100 yards in every game, in my opinion.
They should. They should. Especially the way that the offensive line is hyped up, the way that they're hyped up. Considering Stan Drayton is who he is. One of them should every game. I'm gonna run with that as well. I think, like I'm with UTK. I think Nick is gonna break one long this weekend, and after that, it's only gonna take a couple, 20, 30 more yards, depending on how long the carry is. But it's only going to take a few more carries to get to that 100 yards. So, maybe it only takes 9, 10 carries, and then he can sit out the second half, and you're feeling much better about Nick Singleton heading into the bye week, heading into Oregon. I hope that's the scenario, at least, because the way that he's looked so far, we could definitely use a little bit of positive momentum for him.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about when it comes to the Florida International game?
No,
Wrap it up here.
I mean, I think it's cool to see receivers catching the ball in general. Again, last week they had 16 of the receptions. I don't know exactly what the stat was this week, but like we mentioned earlier, Drew obviously trusts his receivers this year, so that's definitely nice. The FIU game to me is I know Nick's touched on it a lot as well, but to me that was a game where you just look at Drew and you're like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we doing? Like, we're throwing the ball behind guys, we're short hopping guys, like we're not hitting wide open guys. There were times where he held the ball too long. And then got sacked that way. I don't know. I mean, it's a game that the team and coaching staff probably just cuts on the film once, looks at it, shits on it, throws it away, and is like, let's move forward. But there are things to take from that game that I'm sure the staff will. So it's a good game to forget about, and hopefully it's not a game where we come back to it at the end of the year and say, we noticed this problem in this game and it never got corrected. Because that would obviously not be good.
Nick?
I mean, just because I feel like we didn't really touch on them much, which is fair because the offense played so poorly. But the defense, I mean, all I kept hearing all offseason was, hey, the Jim Knowles defense is going to be so hard for you guys to adjust to.
Oh, yeah, the Ohio State fans telling us it's going to take 3 years to install the defense.
Yeah, complete joke. I thought they played really good. Again, there's still room for improvement on that side of the ball. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely a little bend, don't break to it, which I don't love against a school like FIU. But that D-line, I mean, what you see with Chaz Coleman's Fish, I've already touched on this, but I mean, what we saw from them and Tony Rojas, when he is in the game at linebacker, it really does change everything. Like the defense does look so much different when he's on the field versus not on the field.
Yeah, we talked about that last week too, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So just to give the defense their flowers, honestly, because they did get a shutout for what it's worth. I know they're playing JV squad, but shutout's a shutout at this level of football.
To your point, as well, I feel like obviously we've heard that all offseason about Jim Knowles and the 3-year process. And then some people were like, oh, bend don't break. Like, no matter how you feel. Like, dude, I'm sorry, but, Jim Knowles, Manny Diaz, Tom Allen, pretty much all bend don't break. Like
Brent Pry.
They did it, Brent Pry, like they did it very different ways. Like obviously Manny was very aggressive, like ran a very attacking style defense, and it was very risk and reward. but it was still bend don't break when you got inside the 20. Like same with, Brent Pry was, annoyingly, passive. It felt like defensively at times. And then Tom Allen, I mean, obviously no one even knew what the fuck he was saying on the headset half the time anyway. So he's 0-1. So, I mean, or 1-1 now after battling out with Troy. So nobody really cares. But
yikes.
Yeah, that 3-year bullshit. Like I saw someone posted a clip where the long run that FIU had, where Tony Rojas just blatantly missed the tackle. And they're like, there's that Jim Knoll defense. I'm like, bro, it's 1-on-1 in the hole. He missed the tackle.
If the guy makes the tackle, it's no gain. So
that ain't a scheme, bro. That's
it's gonna happen.
Like, so that has been interesting to see.
Yeah, the last thing that I wanted to mention, Xavier Gilliam, another one of those young defensive linemen. He looked really good out there, man. I mean, Deion Barnes,
beast,
one hell of a position coach, man. I hope, and he played here, so hopefully that loyalty plays into it and everything. But I hope he stays here forever. I mean, he's just a dog.
I mean, they're gonna have to keep paying him.
No, absolutely.
Because what he's doing is phenomenal. I remember in the beginning, I mean, what people threw around wild names for that. And what did he say? He was nervous about Barnes because of something that happened on a recruiting visit or something. Something like that along those lines. But he, I mean, obviously he's coming in and absolutely crushed it. I mean, what those guys are doing and what that room looks like is arguably our best position group, in my opinion. Besides obviously tight end, but tight
end corner.
Barnes. He's a beast. Yeah. And fuck FIU.
Pitbull, man. Pitbull.
This upcoming weekend, Penn State is taking on Villanova, FCS opponent. This is a good FCS program. So I'm not expecting anything like 70-0, 66-0. No, I don't expect that. And quite frankly, James Franklin doesn't do that very often. I think we did it to Idaho one time, and then other than that, we've never really seen that. So you can't expect too much of a blowout this weekend, but I hope Penn State does, release some demons because, I mean, they've got to hear it, right? Drew Allar has to hear some of the noise that's being said about him. I'm just looking for them to air out some frustrations a little bit. Like I said, Villanova is a very good program. I think they're ranked top 10 in the FCS, but you're paying them almost $2 million.
Yeah,
got to get it. I mean, gotta give them this work.
Respectable program. Excited, to help them out with their program and pay some bills. But the team just won 24-17 against Colgate, so this should be a belt to ass situation.
You would hope. Yeah.
Anything less than that, I mean, people are going to freak out.
Is there anything we're specifically looking for from this Villanova game? Obviously, probably Drew Allar to play a little bit better. But anything in specific, any player that you're looking at in specific unit?
Dawkins. I want to see Dawkins.
Dawkins is a huge one.
Like he's got to play better, man. Like he has to play better, man. He had a bad game against FIU, man. Like he has to play better. Drew has to play better. But then to Nick's point earlier, how much are you really going to see these guys before Oregon? There's one game left. How much are you really going to see them? Because what happens if they play too long and somebody gets hurt, knock on wood here, I mean, we're all losing it. I mean, if somebody gets hurt in this game late second half or like beginning third quarter, fourth quarter, like someone will freak out. Like that would just be ridiculous. So.
And that's why, and I've said this the last 2 weeks when you've mentioned our opponent for that week. I hate that we're playing 3 of these bullshit games. And it's because of this. It's because here's the deal. You are now in a situation where your team arguably regressed from week 1 to week 2. And now you're going into a week. Now you're going into a week 3 game where you can't really play your starters for that long. You can play them for the first half, but if you start playing them in the second half, as TK just said, and someone gets injured, you will never hear the end of that. And that's one of my biggest problems with these types of games. I'm fine with playing 1 of them, 2 of them. When you play this third one, it's just like you've set yourself up now where you're either going to go into Oregon with injuries or a lack of preparation because you've been playing these bullshit ass games for the first month of the season.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's definitely a sticky situation right now because, especially after this second game. I mean, you had a nice foundational piece from week 1, and then this bullshit that you gave us in week 2. We now don't really know exactly what this team is yet. So if you come into that Villanova game and you're struggling going into halftime, you got a real decision to make because you're looking at either getting on the same page in game, or like you said, risking yourself for injury. You hope you can do it without injuring yourself, but you don't want to be in that scenario. So you've set yourself up to be in a really tough situation. You have to come out of the gates firing against Villanova this
If
weekend.
it's 28-0 at
You
half,
have
I
to.
don't want to see any starters. If it's 28-0 at half, I don't want to see anything.
Yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
The reality is,
And 28 should be. I mean,
yes,
it should be more than 28.
like I'm sorry, like you should not see anyone in the second half. The
No.
reality is, again, this 1-0 mantra that he's preached for however long now. I'm willing to bet you they've been working on the Oregon game since probably starting this week, if we're being honest. Like, you have this week, the bye week, and then the Oregon prep week, 3 whole weeks. I guarantee you this week they're working and preparing for Oregon, not Villanova. Like, because the reality is Penn State's best should be enough to beat Villanova, looking over a day or two of their scheme, what they like to do, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and their best should be able to win the game comfortably looking at it that way. Because you can't – I just have always found this so intriguing. Like when we played the Idaho States of the world and shit like that, what are you working on for a week? Like, what do they have that had you intrigued for a week?
Exactly.
Like, come on, man. Like, this should – if this isn't 28 nothing at half and all the starters can sit this a whole second half, and we got a real problem. Because then, as Nick said and I said, then you're setting yourself up for a really tough decision. Like you mentioned, do I put them back in or do I just let this go? Like, and if it ends 28-7 or 28-14, is that okay? Am I cool with that? As long as it means we are prepared for Oregon or not? Like, that's the decision that has to be made. So,
yeah. I'm looking for the tackling to get cleaned up a bit on Saturday. One of the big plays we saw against FIU was from a missed tackle in the hole. So there were a couple other plays as well where, obviously it didn't kill us. We gave up 0 points, but if you make the tackle early, you're not putting yourself in the best scenarios when you're missing these tackles. So clean that up.
Yep.
That's all I want. And obviously, Nick, to go over 100 yards, please.
Were either of you at the game?
No.
No. I wasn't.
That
I just
crowd.
was curious. It looked like it was. I usually only go to like 4 a year. I'm in North Carolina, so I have to drive up. But it looked like one of the lesser attended games. That I've seen.
Yeah.
In a long time.
And yet
this is what
like
happens.
104.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you play FIU and Villanova and Nevada in the non-conference. No one gets unless you're like someone like people like us who are like way too into this shit. A casual fan does not give a fuck. I bet most of the students up there do not give a fuck. It's just like, let's get to Oregon. Like that's also almost the problem with this is that they're treating this like it's the preseason. But I'll tell you right now, if they had lost, which they didn't, but if they had lost last week, if they struggle this week, AP voters, college football voters, they will remember that. I'm actually shocked they're still number 2 in the AP, to be quite genuine.
I'm
but
shocked
somehow
that we're still number 2 and we're still favored.
Right.
By 6.5.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't flipped or at least come down closer.
So,
I think it will
as it gets closer.
I think it'll probably be 2 or 3 by the time kickoff comes. Maybe two or 3 in the other direction as well. You never know. Score predictions.
If I'm saying 28 or more at half, I'd like to say 50 to something. I'm gonna say 52-7.
All right. Yeah. Nick?
I've not predicted them to score 50 points either of the last 2 weeks. They have not scored 50 points either of the last 2 weeks. So I am not going to predict them to score 50 points this week. Give me 49-7, probably some bullshit touchdown in the fourth quarter. And that's what I'll take. And I won't be happy about it. I'll be like, what was that? What was that? 49 points. I won't be happy. But I haven't predicted them to score 50 points yet. Then they haven't given me any reason to do that now.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of went a little bit out above my skis last week, and I think I predicted 59 points for them. Just, yeah, not even. If they executed, they would have gotten close, but fuck execution, I guess. I'm going to go 48-6. I don't see us giving up a touchdown to Villanova. This defense looks really, really good. The backups might, and that'll probably piss me off, because, of course, it won't look as pretty then. But I don't see this defense giving up any points other than field goals.
Bold prediction, I think 3 different receivers catch a touchdown this weekend.
That would be a welcome. That would be very welcome to see.
And I think one
Trevor
of them's
Pena.
Howard.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
That would get a lot of people excited, for sure.
Something has to happen to make everybody excited. I mean,
yeah.
Like, we cannot go into the whiteout game. Like, and honestly, like, as far as Twitter goes, obviously, AP, we talk to Key and QB and Nasty, all the time. And they've said it multiple times. And they're probably right. This will be, in my lifetime, the biggest game that's happened at State College at Beaver Stadium.
Yeah.
It'll be a whiteout.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there.
It'll be a top 4 game.
The Ohio State game a couple years ago. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely up there with that for sure.
I think this will be it, because it's not just the rankings. It's
at night.
It's where we're at, like where we've been at, what we haven't accomplished, what the hump we haven't gotten over. This game is all of that in one.
And knowing it's our best chance too.
And it's our best shot, because the reality is we don't know what the next couple of years look like. So this is really it.
Right.
So people will be up in arms regardless of the outcome. But I think it's the biggest game in my lifetime at Beaver that I'll have ever been to. So yeah.
All right, let's pick a few week 3 games and then we'll get out of here, boys. It's going to be an interesting weekend in college football. We got Pitt, West Virginia. Obviously, West Virginia losing to Ohio ruined that. But backyard brawl is always fun to watch. But USF went down to Florida and beat them. So now the USF at Miami game gets really interesting. Who do you got winning that?
Which should we pick in the Pitt game or the USF game?
USF at Miami.
Got you. Okay. I'm going to take Miami. As much as I would like to take USF, I won a good amount of money on them this week. I do like that program. Before TK hopped on, me and you were talking about how, like, hey, Alex Golish might be getting that Florida job come the end of the year. He's done a really good job down there. I really like that program they've built. I think they have the inside track to the playoffs right now as the G5 school. But I'm going to take Miami. They're a top 5 program. If you lose to a G5 school, blow up the program, dude. I don't care how good they are. They're still G5.
That's my bold take for college football, by the way. I don't know about this year, but Alex Golesh will eventually be Florida's next head coach. Go ahead, TK.
I got Miami winning. I got South Florida covering 17.5.
Yeah, they will cover. I agree.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think they'll cover. I actually think USF is going to win this football game. Still not sure what to think of Miami. They'll probably prove me wrong, and I'll look like an idiot. But that's not to discredit Miami in any way. I think they're a good football team, but I think USF is the real deal. I like their quarterback. I like their head coach, and I don't like the way Mario Cristobal coaches in some tight games. So if USF is able to keep it tight, I think they're going to be able to pull it off. We just saw them do it down in the Swamp. No reason why they can't do it in Miami. Texas A&M goes up to South Bend to take on Notre Dame. We've seen that Notre Dame stadium get taken over by some opposing fans before, so it's going to be interesting to see how Texas A&M travels, but that's going to be a fun game. Who do you got?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Notre Dame did not really impress me at all against Miami, but Texas A&M also has not impressed me so far this year. I saw them play, might have must see it, but I saw they were kind of struggling with Utah State in the first half. last night, so neither program's really impressed me. I'm going to take Notre Dame just because they're at home and they pretty much need that game. If they lose that game, their season is pretty much over. So I got to think that that's got to be somewhat creeping in Marcus Freeman's mind. Last week, I took the Northern school over the Southern school in the primetime game, and it did not turn out that well. But I'm going to do it again this week. I'll take Notre Dame.
I got Notre Dame as well. I think Texas A&M's a dog shit football program.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Put me on an island here because I don't want to go with all Notre Dame on the graphic, but I think I'm going to have to. I like Mike Elko as a defensive coach. I think he's going to give CJ Carson problems up there in South Bend, but I think, them being at home, they're going to be able to pull this game out. Close one. But give me Notre Dame. How do you guys feel about Georgia, Tennessee? Is that a game you think Tennessee can pull off, or is Georgia just too much?
I don't even think it's going to be close, man. I mean, I was talking about this at the beginning of the year.
Really?
When you mentioned the Syracuse game at the beginning of the year, I said it. I was like, I'm not impressed. I don't think this Tennessee offense is that great to begin with. They ended up having a great game against Syracuse.
Yeah.
They had a great game against Syracuse. I get it. Syracuse is not a great program. They lost to UConn, or they beat UConn, but in overtime. Fran Brown had them running sprints after the game, probably what James Franklin should have had them doing at Beaver Stadium. But
TK tweeted it. TK
I didn't see that. I did not see that, but I agree.
I got killed for that. I got absolutely killed.
Yeah, he was getting murdered. He was getting.
I do. I mean, you got a point there, but I think Georgia. I think Georgia in a landslide.
Yeah,
wow.
I think this is every year. I feel like this is every year with Georgia, Tennessee. It's like, Tennessee's playing Georgia, and then Georgia beats them bad, and then it's like, okay, well, Georgia's back to being Georgia. I got Georgia big as well. I think they cover the -7 with ease.
So this is it's interesting this year because, like you said, we do say this about the Georgia Tennessee game every year, but I do think this is because everybody's sleeping on Tennessee this year. Nico transferred. Everybody assumes Tennessee was going to be dog shit coming into the season, and I know I was. I thought Syracuse would beat them week 1. They proved otherwise. They look good. They looked good last week, I thought. And I'm not a huge believer in Stockton.
I mean, Georgia struggled this week. They beat Austin Peay like 14 points,
28-6.
Don't go 0 for 3 on the graphic, man.
No, I'm going Notre Dame over Texas A&M. So I'll at least have one there. Hopefully, watch fucking Texas A&M will win. Then I'll really be 0-3. I'm going Tennessee.
Lock of the week's 3-0.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've seen you've been doing. Of course, the year you haven't been on the podcast so far, you're doing good. Finally, people would have made money the past couple of years if they faded you.
Yeah, they would have made a lot of money actually. So
but
you're picking Georgia.
No, I'm picking Tennessee. I'm the dumbass here. I'll fucking take it on the chin. Give me Tennessee. Hey, maybe this is the year for him. Oh fuck! I don't know. What
I got a game for you to pick.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to talk about another one here. It might be the one you're thinking of.
Is it Duke?
Oh no.
Duke and Tulane. Tulane's favored.
That's a good game.
An interesting one. That is an interesting game.
And what I'll say about Duke is, like, I know the box score ended up looking really ugly. They played better than Illinois on Saturday. They had 5 turnovers. That's why they lost, which obviously turnovers are bad. Don't get me wrong. But in the trenches, they dominated. They were the more physical team. I thought they played a better game. Tulane's a really good program, though. I think that game's at Tulane, too. That kind of makes me want to give them the edge because they're at home.
Yeah,
that's a coin flip. I'm going to take Tulane.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tulane here as well. I really like their coach as well, and their quarterback Retzloff. We know what he does. He did some great things last year at BYU. I like Tulane to be the G5 college football playoff representative. So give me Tulane.
I like Duke. I just thought it was an interesting game.
Yeah, it is going to be a really interesting.
Two bit American, Tulane in South Florida.
Yeah. Yep. Give me. All right. So another one that I saw that I thought was interesting. Clemson goes down to Atlanta to take on Georgia Tech. Do you think that's going to be a close one, or you think Clemson takes that running away? Because Clemson did not look good this past weekend.
TK shaking his head. So I think we're going to disagree on this one. I like
Haynes
Georgia
King
Tech.
is a dog.
I like Georgia Tech. I like that program from the beginning of the year. I think they're a sleeper in that conference. Clemson has looked like shit the first 2 weeks of the season. They call me crazy. I like Georgia Tech.
This might replace the Notre Dame game on the graphic.
Man, I think Clemson. I think this is the game where Clemson
think they
finally
put belt to ass.
kind of puts belt, and I think it's Clemson big actually. Just because I think they have to. Like, just because I think it's starting to get weird. Like, obviously, they look terrible. That LSU game, they look terrible. And obviously, they struggled with Troy. So I think they beat Georgia Tech easily. But I see the vision. I also like Georgia Tech. But I just don't think it's this. I don't think it's this weekend. I don't think they beat Clemson. But I like Georgia Tech for sure.
Maybe a rematch down the road. You never know. Man. I love Haynes King. I love Haynes King in this scenario. I love Georgia Tech in this scenario. Brent Key, Haynes King, they've got some magic to them in matchups like these. They're at home. Give me the Yellow Jackets, man. I think Clemson's a good program, but they have struggled these first couple weeks. Georgia Tech, they struggled in their opening week against Colorado, and they still came out on top. That was really impressive to me. Overcame, I think, 2 or 3 turnovers and still stayed in control of that football game. That was impressive to me. So I like Georgia Tech in this scenario here.
I can also mention one game this weekend that's kind of funny. Like we know who's going to win, but the fact that Oklahoma is going to Temple at the Link, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know we're doing it next year, but it's a little bit different because it's an in-state game. It's probably like a throwaway for the Philly. It's a throwaway for the Philly alumni, but the fact that Oklahoma's going there is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. That's gonna be so ugly too. That's gonna be like 58-0, 58-3. Temple is so bad.
They're 2-0, baby.
Yeah, I don't even know who they've played. Oh, I want to talk real quick too. Kansas State, they're fucking awful. Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently losing in Ireland is a way to completely destroy your season. Florida State last year, now Kansas State.
Yeah, I might be fading them the rest of the year, man. They look awful. They should be 0-3. So, yeah, that might be a team. I'm gonna find them on the bet sheets every week and just fade them. Anything else we want to talk about, boys?
Lock of the week. Do I want to announce it and it lose for the first time? What are the odds on this Vanderbilt game?
Ooh, I scrolled past that earlier. I didn't look at it.
Lock of the week, South Carolina over Vanderbilt. Book that.
Yeah, Brent Pry should be on the hot seat. He got his fucking ass kicked.
The grass wasn't greener on the other side for Brent, man.
No.
I feel for him, but at the end of the day, I mean, just not good enough, bro. Some coaches are meant to be coordinators.
Fuente absolutely killed that program. Pry had one hell of a project to take over when he got it, and I mean, God love him, man. He's trying his hardest, but that's tough, man.
Well, I mean, and that's a program where, I mean, the potential's there. I mean, you have that entire DC recruiting area right there. The problem is Penn State, Ohio State have just completely taken it over, and all of the top players from DeMatha and all the other schools in the DC area, they all go to Penn State or Ohio State. No one goes to Virginia Tech. That's the problem. That's where they needed to build from, and they just did not do that.
Yeah. All right, boys. Good episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Glad we were able to get you back here this week, TK. Hopefully we'll get you back here in the future as well for hopefully the rest of the season. We'll see how it works out for your schedule. Missed Alex tonight, but we'll be sure to get him back. And looking forward to Villanova this week. Make sure to kill him because, I'd like to be positive going into the Oregon game. But
and
we'll
obviously, not college related. Just a refresher for all the listeners. Only one of us on this podcast run the NFC East, and I want you to know it's the Washington fucking Commanders who run the NFC East this year. All right.
All right. Yeah.
That's all I got,
Sure.
but really appreciate it. Good to be back.